Enjoy our shows? Follow the Mercado Airwaves crew all over social media. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. On Instagram, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy. Alex is at Mercado2121. Mike is at Mike Mercado2333. And our true crime show is at Murder Mysteries and More. And on Twitter, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy. Alex is at Mercado21Alex. And Mike is at MMercado2333. You can follow the network at Mercado Airwaves. Follow our pop culture show on Twitter at Good Brothers Pod. Get us on the go by downloading our programs anywhere you get your favorite podcast, like iTunes, SoundCloud, Podbean, Stitcher, and other popular sites. Just search us at Mercado Airwaves. While you're at it, please like, rate, review, and share us with your friends. Visit us on youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. Click the subscribe and like button to get notified every time a new episode or interview is posted. Support Mercado Airwaves by visiting patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves, the home of our interviews with athletes and celebrities, which you can get ad-free and early before it's released to the public. Come play video games with us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves Network. Mercado Airwaves is powered by Munch Art Design. Like them on Facebook at Munch Art Design. Voiceover work on Mercado Airwaves is performed by Josh Fox.
And here we go.
Get ready, get set for the best movie and pop culture talk in the universe. It's the Good Brothers on Mercado Airwaves with your hosts, Alex Mercado and Mike Mercado.
Welcome back to another episode of the Good Brothers. I'm Alex, that's Mike. We are the Good Brothers. Mike, happy 100th anniversary.
Happy anniversary, Good Brother. That is right. We have made it to episode 100, Good Brother, the best podcast in Chicago. The Mercado Brothers,
Mike, you're
bringing you every
the Midwest,
the Midwest, the entire Midwest.
All of it.
It's been fun, Good Brother. It's been crazy how fast it came, and we are here. And what's amazing is how much I feel like we've accomplished already, and what we still have to do and move forward, and all we could still kind of climb and do it.
I mean, we'll talk about it more later after we do the general show, but I think it's funny. We kind of talked about it when we walked in, and you said you invited me to your Halloween party like always, and I was like, well, I'll be out of town. And you're like, well, didn't you come last year? I was like, well, no. And you're like, when did you come? I was like, 2 years ago when we made the show the very next day, Mike. Mm-hmm. We literally got trashed on Halloween, watched scary movies, and decided, hey, your equipment's here. Maybe we should start a podcast. 2 years later, here we are.
So I guess technically it would be episode 104 is exactly 2 years.
Yeah.
But the sentiment is 2 years going to be.
You always got the holidays.
Yeah, and it's episode 100. So we want to make sure that this is a fun one. And it's going to be action-packed, Good Brother, because we have to go to the movies. We have a bunch of things we have to review. And, of course, we're going to talk a little bit of everything that's happening in that wrestling world. And you and I are going to have a nice little chit-chat. A lot of people are enjoying whenever you and I are just able to sit back and get back at one another and
Mike
see what each other's thinking.
By my great opinions.
So while we're doing that, let's all go to the movies. We still have not been copyrighted, Good Brother. Nope. And we see how this ran down. Oh, damn it. Maleficent is at number 1. At 2, Joker. At 3, Zombieland. At 4, Addams Family. At 5, Gemini Man. At 6, Abominable. At 7, Downton Abbey. At 8, Judy. At 9, Hustlers. And at 10, it's Chapter 2. I would like to give a little love to 11, which was Parasite, which you and I will be talking. There's a little nugget for you guys
Halloween.
Later on into the year when it's Oscar season, and you I deep down into it, but it's kind of cool. Parasite, that double entendre of Halloween season and what the actual film is about. So I suggest you guys all check that out. Anything surprise you, Good Brother, about the top 10 of this week's box office?
Not at all. I mean, I think the biggest surprise, not really surprise, we kind of called it, was Gemini Man is a bust, a total bust. Yeah. And Maleficent is, obviously it's how do you say it, Mike?
Maleficent.
I like Maleficent better. That's kind of the running gag, if anyone didn't know. I forget I talk to normal people sometimes and they don't get it.
There's an actual
It's
community.
Not making its money back. It did not do very well, honestly.
$36 million.
Like, yeah, this movie cost about $450 million, it said.
Altogether because of marketing.
About $500 million, yeah. So it probably will make it close back over international, but that's not good. And it's kind of showing you that any original Disney property isn't making as much as the shot-for-shot remakes like Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, Aladdin, The Lion King, which all made $1 billion, Dumbo, Alice in Wonderland 2. The more recent ones that aren't shot-for-shot, I think we've lost a lot of trust in them. So it's kind of hard to really go and pay all that. Because this movie, what's its biggest thing? It's better than part 1. It's good. You're like, well, you paid $450 million for it. I would expect a little bit better, please.
Well, I think it's just interesting, not only like the idea of where a Hollywood superstar is and what that means to your box office, how important IP is, and how important it is to catch people's attention right away with your marketing. I think more than anything, for instance, even though Gemini Man is not necessarily a highly critical movie that people are flocking to see.
To be honest, it's bad.
Yeah. The idea is the premise should have been there. The idea is like it's all there, and it's upsetting that sometimes the stars just don't align with these movies, and it's not what you want it to be. It's Will Smith in a cool concept. It should all be there to work, and it just didn't. And you see why it's so damn bad. And the Maleficent thing is interesting because again, Angelina Jolie, one of the biggest superstars in the world, a huge IP. And just, it's not there. This is one of the lowest things since Dumbo. I think we were mentioning that. That is pretty crazy in today's day and age of Disney dominance.
I mean, you can like movies. Like, it's not like people hate this movie, but nowadays as a blockbuster, if you really don't catch that attention, almost like Godzilla did in the beginning of the year, where you're like, it's hard if you're not in people's attention for more than a week. So I've already, like, a week later, we're already like, oh, what about Terminator? You've already told people are moving on. They're a little over it. They're like, okay, yeah. I saw it. I'm good. And that's always that definition of, well, if you were going to see it, you saw it week one and you never saw it again. So that's why they win those weekends, and then you're like, okay, then they go down. Unlike a Joker or any other sort of properties where it's like, no, they're top one for like 2 or 3 weeks. And nowadays, that's very impressive when there's a new blockbuster every single weekend. Like I said, Terminator, getting great reviews, getting great hype, is going to make a lot of money now. And you and me cannot wait to see it.
Yeah.
We're not going to be talking about any of these movies besides Joker still.
And if you're looking where you could spend your money this coming up weekend, if you don't want to go see Joker, Addams Family, Gemini Man.
Watch Watchmen instead.
Yeah. You could go see Black and Blue. It seems to be the biggest box office movie that's going to be this week, if you could say that. But, but they also have Countdown, a horror flick that's going to be coming out this week. So it's going to be interesting. And Tom Holland, a movie that not a lot of people are talking about, The Current War. It's a biography drama about history, but it's going to be in wide release. Tom Holland, you would think would
maybe
be
just award recognition.
Yeah,
but look at the Florida Project. Like, no one went to see it, but it's a great movie. Like, sometimes, like, we're more talking about money, I guess, than the box office part. Mm-hmm. We're not really talking about, are these movies good or bad? So I don't want people thinking, they don't like the indies. We love the indies.
It's just,
but this is the box office section. Mm-hmm. It's not going to make any money, but it's not meant to make any money.
And good brother, we go from the big screen to the little screen.
I got a big TV.
Oh, yes, you do. And you were able to watch one of the best premieres I think you and I have ever seen. Mm-hmm. HBO delivers again. We are talking about Watchmen. Regina King is Queen/King. She is amazing in this. Good brother, let's do this. Let's give a score for the first episode, for the pilot, for anybody looking for their next kind of thing to get into for HBO, and then we'll go real deep into spoilers. Yeah. So what did you think about the pilot episode of Watchmen? Give us a score, and then we could get out to spoilers.
I thought it was fantastic. It's caught me really off by surprise, I think, because I expected it to be good. But it's like, for me, personally, I get it if people, think it's weird or anything. I give it a 10. As a pilot, pure pilot, it could turn into complete shit, honestly, even next week. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But as a pilot, pure pilot, it was perfect. It did exactly what I wanted it to do. It was so raw and real. It was great. Like, I love Watchmen, personally. I love Zack Snyder. I love his cut. I love the comic. I think it's one of the best, in general, just comic book storylines. The Watchmen are just so fun. It's so real. And I loved it. I think it's great. It takes place, 30-something years after the comic book, which is almost similar to the movie, just a little different ending, but that's not important for the pilot. But I loved it. 10 out of 10. I cannot wait. It caught me. People were talking about it. So I gave, The Boys was a 9.5 because I thought it was great. It was a little niche, though. This is almost more like people will talk about this, I think, a little bit more even. And people were hot on The Boys. And I think people are even more intrigued by this because it's a little more serious. And I think we're ready for, we want our comic book movies and shows to be they're talking about some real stuff, and I dig it.
I think your comparison to The Boys is phenomenal because you and I have always talked that Watchmen is going to have to knock it out of the park for how great The Boys was.
Because it was so gritty and raw. This is even real gritty and raw.
And we'll get to spoilers in just 1 second. I give this pilot episode a 10 out of 10. Like Alex said, the rest of the series could be absolute crap. But for this specific episode, for 1 hour of television that had to deal with this This was a phenomenal watch. Watch it, make your decision, and then decide if you want to be on this worldwide. On that, let's get into spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 of Watchmen on HBO. Very interesting that it is nothing like the comic books. There's no superhero powers. The squid is literally squid showers, which we'll find out about. But it's basically racism and modern day culture dealing with
even reverse racism at points where it's just, they start off with the Tulsa bombings, which was a true story. I didn't know about this. I'm not gonna
Black Wall Street.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pretend to be one of the people that really knew a lot about this. I've heard the term so loosely, the Black Wall Street thing, but I knew nothing about it. So it was right. Them showing me this, I went into it, and I think it's fascinating. So I thought that was an A+ because you're like, wow, you taught us something actually that wasn't that long ago, and now it's like, man, I looked into it because you made me. A comic book show made me learn something that was not that long ago that we don't hear enough about. So I thought that was fantastic. The acting's fantastic. The visuals are fantastic.
The hook.
The world is fantastic. It's just so fascinating. And I believe that this is a universe where there is no superheroes. They're just extraordinary people to the next level, like more trained, better shape, better fighters. But I don't think there's actually superpowers beside Dr. Manhattan in the Watchmen universe, correct?
I don't think so. I mean, I guess Silk Spectre it depends because Zack Snyder's version makes it seem like they are superhuman, and then opposed to I don't think it's Frank Miller. I'm totally spacing on who did the Watchmen. It might be Frank Miller. I'll look it up in 1 second. But excuse me to the Lord who actually wrote Watchmen. I'm going to look it up right now. Lifetime Alex, because we are better than that in episode 100, and I don't want to.
He appeared on The Simpsons,
and it's gonna pass me off. Alan Moore. Damn it! How did we not know Alan Moore? Unlike the movie, I'm not familiar with other than Dr. Manhattan, if Alan Moore really made, because he did bring in the squid.
Yeah, I did a revamp of it because that's explained technology-wise. Because Dr. Manhattan gives them great future technology. So you got to think the Watchmen universe back in the 80s was like 2050 technology. So imagine 30 more years. Like the technology's obnoxious. Basically.
But what I'm saying is, I don't know if Alan Moore, other than Dr. Manhattan, who's only been the supernatural superhero of that universe. I don't remember if I haven't read Watchmen since Doomsday Clock.
From what I remember, and I'm going to be pretty confident saying, he's the only one with powers, and his can be explained through science.
So then moving with that, like you said, and then even what happened in Zack Snyder's, it's interesting that in the pilots of Watchmen on HBO, we see Dr. Manhattan doing something on Mars, creating something. We do see animation of the Watchmen that are from the comic book that Alan Moore made, like the comedian and so on and so forth. So I wonder what's real, what's influence, what's our reality, what's this new reality. I think that's a really interesting take that's all subtext, and quite frankly, the bottom line of this is racism. They've taken a lot of the scare of communism and World War and brought it home to deal with police, to deal with racial tension, police tension, even public tension when it comes to politicians and the wealthy. And we're going to see that with, I believe, Jeremy Irons.
Jeremy Irons, who's Ozymandian, right? I'm completely sure with his robots. I love the opening scene, not the Tulsa right after, where it's a reverse thing, where it's like a redneck man, racist, and a black officer. He's trigger happy.
Great episode.
Like it's not like he's not,
but
part of it was really fun. You're like, oh, I get it. They reversed it. Like
amazing.
It's fun, and I love that he gets shot. He survives, obviously, and I mean, I guess we can go. The whole episode's great. The universe is great. We're gonna keep learning more about this universe. The ending is a nice little question mark now of like, well, who's good and who's bad?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure now this man, the wheelchair kid from the beginning of Tulsa, who turns out to be the guy at the end that kidnapped the boss, I'm pretty sure he's the hero. He's the hooded 1985 hero, correct?
Okay,
like,
he might be. Yeah, I think so.
Because remember, he's like, oh, I can lift 200 pounds. And that he saw people getting lynched and stuff. So that would make sense as his character arc. Like, oh, so he was born in the 20s. He became a hero a couple years later. You know what I mean? Like, that would make sense to me.
And I think it might just because it's definitely, it seems like it does have the HBO touch to it where never expect, like, exactly where we're taking you. They did it with True Detective, Game of Thrones. They've always done it.
The boss that we learned to love this episode is a bad guy.
And there's a reason why they do shoot on the picture of him and his father all the way back from the olden times. So I'm assuming it's the 50s or 40s. So there is something to the subtlety that they're putting into, and then the idea of the lynching at the end, which was a crazy symbolism of
like they really went for it. Yeah.
What do you think about the Rorschach idea of like they might be the terrorist group?
I like it. I think it's great. It's very fascinating. Like, they did it so well that people aren't in outrage about it. And that's always crazy to me because, like, this easily could have gone such the reverse way that people were like, oh, well, this is just Django all over again, basically. And you're like, well, when it's done right, though, you don't look at it like that. You look at it as just great writing and entertainment. And I think that comes across that we can ignore that. Like, it's not just purposely, oh, we're going to reverse everything. No, it's really making you look at it and think about it.
And I really liked Tim Blake Nelson as Looking Glass, who had the silver.
I love it.
That scene was amazing.
We're going to get to see.
And then Andrew Howard as Red Scar. That was really fun. Obviously, Regina King as Angela Abraham.
Great.
Yeah,
she's so good.
I love her relationship with his name is Yaha Abdul Mateen. Cal Abraham.
It's so great because he's like, I'm married to a superhero. That's kind of hot and cool.
Yeah, dope. So there's a bunch of cool ones.
I know my spot.
And I suggest you guys don't go on the cast because you will start seeing who's being casted as who that we haven't seen yet. But it's really fun. And then Luis Gasset Jr. is who is playing the old man. So we don't know yet. They haven't put his name, anything on his title yet. So he's sure as hell may be the character that everybody's talking about in the movie, that the premiere that everybody keeps talking about on the TV screen, where they're going to go deep into the original Watchmen. So really fun. But I think you and I are gushing over this.
Oh, I would love some flashbacks.
Yeah. So, which would be really cool, which would be better for the diehard comic book fans to have flashbacks of people in costumes.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool to see what HBO does with that. Yeah. So really interested, but I'm thoroughly enjoying what we got so far. I like how the
trailer did not show too much.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing that we're really looking forward to is I'm like, oh, Dr. Manhattan's coming back. Like, he's coming back to Earth. And, like, that alone would change the series so much. So there's so much room for them to go. You're like, they're only touching real world problems. We haven't even gotten to the crazy supernatural stuff that Watchmen's so good at.
Good, brother. We go from one comic book universe that hit the tiny screen to a comic book that's hitting the big screen, and that is Bloodshot, starring Vin Diesel. And the big talk about this is it's a movie that a lot of people seem to have seen before because it is that live, die, repeat, Edge of Tomorrow kind of upgrade movie. But with that being said, I thought the trailer was fun.
It's fine. When's it coming out?
Next year.
No one's watching it. No one's going to watch this movie. Vin Diesel just needs to keep making Fast and Furious with Cardi B, and we'll be fine.
Which was that he tweeted out. Yeah,
Cardi. He's great at that. This movie doesn't look good. I think it's been in development for so long. I just don't. Again, we talk about it. We argue about it. There are movies, even now in superhero genre. Not every superhero movie should be in the big screen.
Sure.
This should have been a Netflix movie.
Okay.
Like, we just loved El Camino, and we're like, I wouldn't have wanted to pay for it. I would have. But I understand if it wouldn't have made money. I'm the same way with this movie. It's like, I'll watch it. We'll watch it because it's our job.
Right.
But it's not me saying, like, I wish I didn't have to. I wish I could watch it at home.
You know what this reminds me of? You know what's going to be a lot of fun that you and I are both going to enjoy? Yeah. The new Zack Snyder film where it's the zombie movie that's based in the Dawn of the Dead universe where they're in Vegas. It's a Netflix movie. It's an hour and a half of awesome movie. It's the idea of putting something fun, exciting, with people we like to give us the momentum. You want that to mean something.
Like, Vin Diesel was made for Netflix. I don't know why he won't accept that.
Are you excited for, and kind of sticking in the realm of Bloodshot where one movie hits the theater, this new Zack Snyder zombie movie? I think it's really cool because did you like, first of all, you liked Dawn of the Dead, his remake.
It's my favorite Dawn of the Dead.
And do you think it's a nice
favorite, like, Dead universe, like in that whole thing? Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead is my absolute favorite, and it's probably one of my top 2 zombie movies.
I adore his version. It's Army of the Dead, and it wrapped up today, and it will be on Netflix. It has a bunch of cool characters. I'm super excited for it.
Zombie movies.
Yeah, and the idea of it's Zack Snyder though, I want him
zombies, crazy shots. Love it.
So I love Vin Diesel, and I want him to succeed, and I want him to have something beyond Fast and Furious because I want him to be around.
I feel like
and
you
have
can
fun.
be a bigger star. It's like you're making a movie that really I don't know who's gonna go watch.
But then the counterpoint of you hear about something like Zack Snyder, who's coming off of the Justice League, Man of Steel debacle with Warner Brothers, going back to his wheelhouse in a little bit of a more contained universe of Netflix.
People were really hot on.
So I'm super excited for that. I just want to mention both because to me, there's some weird parallel universe of these two movies where they both would have been perfect in the same lane.
I would rather go see the Zack Snyder zombie film in the theater than Bloodshot.
And speaking of the theater, good brother, a certain trailer came out to a certain movie that is sure to break some winter Christmas box office records. We got our final trailer for Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, including all the tickets going on sale to a theater near your we will be watching it opening Thursday night like every other Star Wars movie since The Phantom Menace. Yep. Good brother, what did you think of it?
I got 2 points. One, it won't be the last trailer. We still got the international. We still got all the TV spots. Sports just came back. It's
quote unquote final trailer.
Yeah, our final trailer. Yeah. Which, one, I like it. Like I said, I'm going to watch anyway. Miro, it's like, don't show me too much. It's Disney Star Wars. I trust them that they're not going to show us too much anyway. So whatever they do show us, they feel comfortable saying, no, we can show you that and it's still going to be great. I loved it. You know me, I love this new trilogy. But I'm a Star Wars, like, I'm unapologetically a diehard. Yeah. So for me, it's like, I love the prequels. I love the originals. I love everything Star Wars. Even Rogue One has grown on me, and that's my least favorite Star Wars
movie.
And I love Rogue One. I love Solo. I love the shows. I love all Star Wars. I think it's the best thing ever. So, of course, I'm hyped to see this end. Like you said, we've been going to premieres for every Star Wars movie that's come out since we've been old enough.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that goes to show you that we weren't even old enough to ride a bike.
Yeah.
So that's how much we got into it. And it's fantastic. I love the trailer. I like space horses. C-3PO is going to make me bawl my eyes out in the theater. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, C-3PO, I love you, little guy. Mm-hmm.
So I think we're going to save all the predictions for Rise of Skywalker when the week of. I have no idea. Yeah, because right now I still
really don't have an idea.
And here's the thing. JJ's up to it again where he's not letting anybody know his secrets of the movie, so we don't know what the story is. It can go so many different
directions, because like I said, you're closing out 9 movies. Like, not just this trilogy. You're like, no, we're closing out a lot of stories. We're like, oh, I didn't, like, how's that going to end? How's that going to end? Oh my God, it could end this way.
Now, I will say one thing, though. I feel like there's better juju into this movie than The Last Jedi.
Of course there is.
But this is coming off of The Last Jedi, which is weird, though, because nobody knew what they were getting from The Last Jedi. And then we had the fallout. But even with all that being in consideration, it seems like it's still...
I do think this was the level of excitement for Last Jedi. I think it was such a negative reaction, though, that we tend to forget
it? You think so?
But
sure.
I think everyone was really hot on it until, the casino plan. It really killed everyone.
It's kind of crazy, though, that we're taking our mother. It's essentially the whole entire crew is going.
That's how we started it.
Yeah, and... it kind of is kind of this sentimental, like, oh, it is kind of the end of like
era.
Going to do that. So I'm
The Mandalorian.
Woo! We got some pretty fun casting news, good brother, because I will drink your milkshake. Poor Paul Dano.
I get that reference.
Yeah. Paul Dano is the Riddler in Matt Reeves' new
what a creepy little guy, Batman and I love it. He's a perfect Riddler.
Yeah, so if you guys didn't get the reference, he is in There Will Be Blood, and obviously one of the great movies with Daniel Day-Lewis and one of the most iconic bowling alley scenes in all time, but he is that little, the twins, the one that's the missionary and the one that's part of the oil group. Love that movie. Paul Dano's great. Paul Dano is a great young actor.
He's fantastic.
And for anybody who doesn't know, Prisoners, obviously, he was great in that. Little Miss Sunshine, There Will Be Blood, Swiss Army Man. So he's done a lot of great ones.
He carries Swiss Army Man almost by himself.
Yeah, there's that. It's a really good movie, though. Looper, he's in a lot of, like, good movies. He's always been kind of a
I don't want to call him a character actor, but he
gets lost in them.
Squirmy so well. Mm-hmm. It's fantastic. And, like, you can't think of a more squirmy bad guy that bothers you than the Riddler. Because you're like, oh, I just want to punch you in the face.
So the Seth Rogen bet is still on the table, but the Jonah Hill, we know he's out of this movie.
I thought we knew that last week, right?
I don't know if we had the time to break it, did we?
We talked.
All right, so it was just Paul Dano that we didn't get a chance to get to.
Paul Dano was the only one getting cast because he got cast almost the night of.
Because we did talk about Zoe Kravitz, so we know Zoe Kravitz, Robert Pattinson,
they announced Jonah Hill was out, and then later that day or very early the next morning they announced they got the new kid.
All right, so the awesome audience of the Good Brothers is able to understand it. Oh, and I want to give him a shout out because he was awesome in Girls Next Door.
Oh my God, he was in Girls Next Door.
And Good Brother, even though we've been jam-packed with a bunch of news, there wasn't really a bunch of news in our next segment. It is time to go into what I'm usually really excited about. It's our Wednesday night wrestling war recap. But week 4, meh.
It was meh. Fine.
Meh.
Both shows were meh. Yeah. We really didn't pay as much of attention. We were definitely clicking back and forth. Mm-hmm. I like Darby Allin. He's fun.
He's okay.
I like his
He's growing at me a little bit.
Jericho's great. Jericho's always fun.
Yeah.
I like Punishment Martinez because again, Puerto Rican, love him. I love the Arrow thing. I think it's cool. Pete Dunne's cool. It's fine. I'm a little more excited for tonight's NXT because I think they have a lot of cool matches that I'm really excited to see. I don't really know what AEW is doing the tag tournament, so that can be interesting. I'm a little upset. Poor Luchasaurus. He's going to be out for a little, but that's okay. At least he has it. I'd rather have done before he got out there, so you can keep hyping it up, than he get out there and then get hurt.
Busted stuff, yeah.
That's even worse. Like, let's get a taste and now we don't like him. Like, that's our first impression on him instead of like, we just keep hearing this build up and build up and build up. And I think Jungle Boy will be fine, honestly. Like, he's going to be a great singles one day anyway.
So what do you think about what we're seeing from WWE? Do you think Cain Velasquez is going to get over?
Rough, man. No.
Eric Bischoff.
It's so
We didn't
hard.
talk about it, though. We didn't talk about Eric Bischoff. What do you think?
Fired?
Yeah.
And I think it's funny. Like, he basically he's not holding back. He's like, it just didn't fit. Like, I wasn't the right fit. I understand. I got paid. I moved back. Bruce is more the fit they want because he's used to their style.
Bruce
I like
Pritchard,
Bruce. Bruce Pritchard's a genius, too. No matter how much you want to give him shit. Like, he's more hits than not. So I think it shows. Paul Heyman's been great. I like Raw. I think again, you're suffering a lot from Hell in the Cell still and Saudi Arabia because now you have a Raw with no women.
Yeah.
And that's rough. But you're like, well, we got to save them because when next week when we're all gone, the women are going to have to carry it. And I'm fine with that. But it's still a little weird. Like, you can throw one match in there. It's a 3-hour show. But the matches they threw were great. I thought all the segments were good. I like you can definitely tell it's Heyman's style of young up-and-comer, heavyweight champion. Throw my tags out there. Let me get Aleister Black out there. Drew McIntyre. He's going to look good. The Street Profits closing out the show. I loved everything about it. Friday Night SmackDown is a little rough.
Yeah, right now.
For me.
Yeah.
Because it's just, we're wrestling fans at the end of the day. If I wanted sports, I would watch sports.
Sure.
I want to watch sports entertainment. And it's so Fox right now that I'm like, I'm not having fun with this. And maybe that's why Bray Wyatt's going over. And I'm starting to change my theory a little bit. Because I'm like, man, they're pushing Bray Wyatt on SmackDown. Yeah, maybe the stupid match. And then now there's like, Undertaker's going to come back. And it's like, oh, shit, okay, Undertaker's going to interfere.
Yeah, I told you.
And then Bray Wyatt. Now, do I think Bray Wyatt can be champion on SmackDown? Yeah.
Sure,
eventually.
but it's not that title.
No, not that title.
Not
That title's going to go to
AJ? Which one? The
Raw.
Universal, the red title?
Yeah.
That's going to Drew McIntyre or AJ. Something like that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yes.
But now my
Baron Corbin.
Yeah, my theory's completely changed on it where I'm like, I think they're going to move in SmackDown. I think he'll be the main champion within the year. And I think, here's the thing. I think they got lucky. I think they're going to get themselves out of this hole. And we're going to look back and be like, man, y'all put yourself in that deep hole, but I'll give you this. A year later, you got out of it. And now Bray Wyatt's the heavyweight champion of the world, and Seth Rollins is kind of cool again, and you saved him enough. Okay, I accept this.
I want to see what they're going to do with Kofi. We got that scene with him smashing up the pancake when he was talking about
maybe he takes him abroad because
obviously
Cain Velasquez. I think he's.
I sent you that video, and you even responded back to me
he's a bad man. He is.
Like
but
that
this is wrestling, so I'm just curious of what they're going to do with that. Like, are they going to give him the title?
I don't know.
Like, maybe they do give him the title, and then
know.
does Kofi beat him? Is Kofi even in the picture anymore?
The only thing
Xavier Woods is gone. He's going to be gone for a while.
The only thing I can think of is
the
only person who would take the title off of Kane would be Brock. The idea of letting Brock get his back.
So why don't you just let Brock beat him in Saudi Arabia?
Which is, I think, is going to happen.
Yeah, same.
And even though they gave Cain Velasquez his own music.
It's a wrestling. This is his arena.
Yeah.
He is obviously Kane won in the UFC. Okay, now Brock's a WWE guy. Okay, we're kind of even.
Yeah.
And in real life, I still kicked your ass. Respect. You win the fake match. I got paid a lot of money. Signed a 2-year contract. I'll show up here and there and do fun stuff.
So I think we'll see. We'll revisit all this next week when we head into Crown Jewel. We'll talk about that crazy event and see if you're.
You might be right. We might leave it being like, oh, okay, nothing happened, cool. Or we might leave being like, oh no, it's always the wonder, are they going to start putting something behind it so people will watch? Because they're like, we know you hate us, but at the end of the day, as a wrestling fan, if you're going to cover it anyway, maybe we give you something good. Or maybe they're like, nah, screw you, middle fingers in the air. Fox gave us money.
Finally, good brother, before we head out of here, it's time to talk a little bit. Episode 100, good brother. We have ended up here, and I was able to talk to some of the greatest minds of all time. Doc from Back to the Future, Rick from Rick and Morty. I have done some great stuff to get us a time machine.
Person, kind of, in
yeah,
that case.
very much. And I was able to get us some time machine memories so we can listen back to 100 episodes worth of stuff. So why don't we go ahead? I will press play on this memory of episode 1.
I just want to point out to everyone that Mike told me about this, but I told him save it. I didn't want to hear one bit. He told me what he was going to do, and I said, okay, cool. I want it to be natural. Because I have no idea what we're going to hear.
So it's just a few seconds of a few shows.
So do you want to listen? Or do you want to commentate over it a little bit?
Yeah, so we can just listen to them and just, stop me when you want to. So this is the first episode of The Good Brothers, episode 1, titled Halloween. It was uploaded October 31st, 2017. And this is the description. Happy Halloween, everyone. Here's a treat for you all. It's the first episode of The Good Brothers with my co-host, Alex Mercado, on Mercado Airwaves. In our debut, we talk all things Halloween, from Friday the 13th to A Nightmare on Elm Street and everything in between. Listen in as we give our recommendations and ranks for the must-watch movies this time of year. We hit the hard-hitting questions like, which was our favorite Halloween costumes growing up?
Hard-hitting.
And, of course, our favorite candy. As well, in a serious note, we read the statement made by Kevin Spacey and our initial thoughts. So, wait a minute. Our first episode, we went Halloween and we went Kevin Spacey. All right, let's do this.
I totally forgot that was 2 years ago.
Here for everybody who is going to be part of this journey since it's episode 1. The conversations that Alex and I have had for years and years and years, we're going to have them right here.
This
we want you guys to be involved in every single one of these conversations. Join us on social media. I am on Twitter. You can follow me personally at mmercado2333.
That was only 2 years ago.
Alex is at Mercado21. Alex, we're on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves.
I don't think people
subscribe to us
realize
on
that
YouTube, youtube.com/Mike Mercado2333. You can see all of the shows that we are doing right here on Mercado Airwaves. These shows are sponsored by our producers over on patreon.com.
I still suck at doing the intro and outros.
You can see a bunch of tiers that we have that you might be interested in. It's a way that you guys get interactive with the show, direct where the show goes.
Get
and
to
means
it,
a lot
kid.
To show the support that you guys are giving us. We really appreciate it. And while you're at it, visit us on iTunes, Mercado Airwaves. Like, share, rate, and review. This show, it's going to be a lot of fun, Alex. When we get back, it's episode 1, The Good Brothers. It's Alex, it's Mike, here on Mercado Airwaves.
Oh, we go to a commercial. Wait, did I throw a commercial
Mercado
in
Airwaves.
Oh my God, I am such an asshole back in those days. All right, let's go forward.
Me being a cheer coach, so I deal with not only coaching
It took
young
you
men
30
and
seconds
women,
to
but
mention
working
cheerleading,
openly
Alex.
with
Well, that's my job, Mike.
gay men and women who have to hide it their whole life, and I see their struggle. So Kevin Spacey being one of our favorite actors, you hear the first part, you're very
To start the show.
because you never want to hear any child go through that. At the same time, you can tell that this man was suffering from having to hide who he truly is. And it's sad to
You
say
would totally
that
tell him to
as
fuck
advanced
off in
as I think
today's
we're getting
episodes.
that,
More than
it's
this
still
episode.
not as easy for these people to come out and be open because
All right, let's
Here's what happened. Kevin Spacey
Open
was
dialogue.
come out. He didn't get the accusations yet, people. Just so everyone knows.
Let's go a little forward. Let's
Probably
see how.
defended Kevin Spacey a little too much before all the info was out.
Probably.
We've learned our lesson
But I
quite
don't
a bit in
think
that,
it holds
Mike.
up.
Let's see. We're
Do
right
you
at
remember the
8.
bully kid?
See, in my
Yeah,
Oh,
don't
that you
stop it.
defended the
That.
bully kid and after being he was the
Overall,
bully?
the best of
We've
the series.
learned.
Let's listen to
I think
Innocent
what
Us.
hurts the Nightmare on Elm Street is the remake. Because of we'll talk about the 3 remakes. All 3 of them, Nightmare on Elm Street was
Around the same time.
worst remake. Not only in a horror movie, but probably just in general remake status. It was pretty terrible, and it really loses track of what made the original Nightmare on Elm Street, the original Freddy Krueger, so interesting and so fun, yet so scary and terrifying. And I think that's what kind of hurts the franchise. But in my opinion, overall, the original Nightmare on Elm Streets are the best overall
That kid's
movies,
spitting
even their
straight
worst.
back at you guys. Just so you know, that young gentleman is going through some shit, and he's still spitting mad fire.
So
Go,
what are we?
young man.
What are we thinking? How about we go to?
Let's try like one in the middle. So obviously the first one, no idea what the hell is going on. It's so unorganized when we started, and we talked about so much random things. Like our topic was basically discussing the biggest horror franchises, and we tried fitting it in like 20 minutes instead of like nowadays we'd be like that's like an episode itself, like 3 parts.
How about
each one getting its own?
Well, how about we do something that you and I are really passionate about? How about we go to the Oscar special, which was January 24th, 2019. So the beginning of this year. This is episode. Of course, I didn't put the episode on. This is before I was putting episodes on there.
That's how like people need to know, Mike. It's gotten a lot better.
All right, let's see.
Yeah, it's a little different than when it's an 8-man race.
But I do like having the dark horse.
Oh no, I love ranking them. Might as well rank them to see how close you were.
We already sound more confident.
Yeah, we're a lot more fluid. We have a good time. We used to pause.
What happens up until February 26th?
Yeah, that's
what's going to happen the next month? Because Lady Gaga not necessarily.
I want to get into Lady Gaga right now.
And we're talking about the Oscars.
Well, I mean, not just drama. Lead actress nomination for Lady Gaga and A Star Is Born, but we also have Letizia Aparicio for Roma, Glenn Close for The Wife, Olivia Colman for The Favorite, Melissa McCarthy for Can You Ever Forgive Me. I think it's Lady Gaga right now.
It is Lady Gaga's enough because she's playing the political person.
All right, so we shouldn't be listening to that.
Nah, get that right.
All right, how about I want to go, and we'll play a little bit more with this. We have a few minutes before we have to wrap this bad boy up. How about we go to the latest episodes for anybody who didn't get a chance to listen to it last week? I think you and I had one of the best fights we've ever had. So what?
Now you have timestamps too.
I do have timestamps now.
Now we're in the timestamp era, people, behind the curtain.
What did we really disagree with about? What do you think?
Man, we disagreed on everything last week.
We really got into it.
I really can't remember.
Okay. I'm gonna put it on the Batman news because that's when we went at it the most. Ready? And very well. But we get news on another superhero front. Good brother. She has voiced the character once before. She's also in a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah,
she's wonderful.
They brought Jonah Hill for Penguin.
Oh, we did talk
specifically
about it last
Penguin,
week,
and I think he didn't want to do it. I thought it was too stereotypical. I think he wanted to do either a Riddler or a Hush or something different. And then I think it didn't work out, and I think that's why they're talking to Seth Rogen because they're like, we need a Penguin. We need a funny but good actor that can do both, and I think that's what they're finding in those similar type of guys where you're like, oh yeah, those guys can definitely any year get nominated for an Oscar. At the same time, they're comedic geniuses.
Well, much more Jonah Hill than Seth.
I think Seth Rogen has his moments. I think, especially
you were
lately,
just showing
back his the new one he did with
Charlize Theron. Yeah,
and I think what the one from last year with the Francos. Where he's a director.
Isn't it amazing when you don't have to think of it on the spot?
No, not the act. The artist. Thank you. So I think he's been proving extremely like that he can do serious roles. I like him a lot. The Apple movie. Again.
Which one?
Jobs. The one with Fassbender.
Oh, Jobs?
Yeah. See what I mean? Like he's so much easier. And again,
once
you have Jamie
Foxx,
not under pressure. The Gustavo Freeman. As one is going to be Alfred, one's about to be...
I want to see where I get really angry at
this
you.
movie already has
Rob Pattinson as his Batman. So it's already got this uphill battle having to deal with trolls that way. But at what point you're asking the movie-going audience to watch a film that's brought to you by the people who brought you Planet of the Apes to see Rob Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz, two people are putting into Academy Award stuff as main leads. And Seth Rogen will be your main antagonist. How did that work out? How did that work out for Tommy Lee and Jim Carrey? How does that work out with Jesse Eisenberg?
Bad director. Jim Carrey's had a lot of success as an actor. Like, yeah, he's picked some really shitty roles, and now he went AWOL, obviously. But let's not lie. Like, Seth Rogen has proved it. Look at Adam Sandler. Look at Adam Sandler this year.
Sure.
He's about to come out in a movie and possibly get an Oscar now.
But here's the difference, though.
You're still saying wrong. This is one of those roles where, like, you have enough people on this side.
Oswald Cobblepot, the Penguin.
That's what we think. I think you can cast a Seth Rogen, take the chance, and when one trailer comes out, I mean, yeah, Heath Ledger can't play the Joker.
No, you're talking something completely different.
I don't think so.
You're talking about a character that... Since Danny DeVito, so it has to go. Danny DeVito was messed up. All right, we're gonna. All right,
that's a great conversation.
All right, so let's go into one last one. How about we go all the way back to episode? We go back to episode 4, Justice League spoiler review.
Oh, I love that movie. I still like it a lot.
Let's go right to the. Okay, again, I wasn't doing any damn timestamps. So we definitely did.
We definitely learned that the hard way when we tried.
Yeah, all right. And let's see. Let's go right in the middle. Let's see.
I had a break before this because obviously where I work at, I drink a gallon of water. That's how much water I had. I never took a break, but I knew I was gonna have at least 3 minutes before they got to that scene because it's in the previews.
Yeah.
And I walk in and you just see Batman dropping the song play, and I'm running up like smiling at you like, hey, it's the song. It's the song. You hear it?
That's all it was.
And so I'm gonna have to go with that. Obviously, all the action's great, but like that was just
on the roof with Commissioner Gordon.
Like you couldn't help but smile. Everyone in the theater's like,
you don't remember that?
And then you got that movie was so bad.
You did not have you not seen it more than once?
I've only seen it one time.
See it one more time. I think you'll like it at home on HBO for 2 hours.
What is your favorite episode that you think we've done?
My favorite?
Like, you can remember, like, what's a memory that sticks out to you the most of doing this show?
I thought about this earlier today. My favorite was the end. Was it Endgame review? My least favorite was the Infinity War review.
Really?
Because you know why? We did the Infinity War twice. We had to do it twice. We went through it the first time. It was such a big movie that we have never done a movie of that scale yet. And we didn't really set ourselves up like we do nowadays talking about it for weeks. So when we got to it, I remember us recording for like 45 minutes. And we just sat there and we're like, nah, that's trash. And you and me were like, yeah. And we had just seen the movie. So we were tired a little bit. So we're like, all right, let's go get something to eat. And then like, let's try it again. Because it was so bad. And like, we were just all over the place. And so by the time we get to the other one, we're tired. We're missing points that we said earlier because we think we said it. Then like, go a year later though. I love our Endgame talk. We had such a great conversation with Endgame and closing out the MC universe and the setup to it. So I really like those a lot.
Which is interesting because it was just like Infinity War. We made that a two-parter still too.
Yeah.
And I think we did enjoy doing that one more.
I mean, just like the other show, we've learned how to do multiple episodes better. We've learned a lot. Go ahead. I had told you at the beginning of the show, like, you're going to see a lot more change from us coming up with the next 100 because I feel like we're the Parks and Rec. We're the Office. We're friends. The first episode was good enough to get us here. The content's out there. We've grown. We've gotten better. Behind the mic, in the mic, on the mic, over the mic, through the mic.
The mic in us. Wait, what?
Yeah, that's Nicole Mike. So we've grown up into it, and like we've definitely grown. I mean, 2 years of existence at our age is kind of our big defining years. You've moved back and forth. I went from a livable little scamp living on the streets, and I'm very domesticated. I'm basically the human lady and the tramp, honestly.
All right, Abu. You're more like Abu.
That's a compliment.
Right.
Relax.
Yeah.
So I think it's fun, and like going forward, it's going to be even more fun. But it's just crazy to think about where we are 2 years later, honestly.
I've had a lot of fun doing this, good brother. It's some of the most entertaining time I have. It's a chance for us to hang out. It's a chance for us to talk about stuff that we really love. It's also time to decompress, and we're very busy dudes. We got a lot of stuff on our plate, and this is a chance where, even though it's still work, it's a lot of fun work, and I enjoy doing it. I know you have some ideas of stuff that you want to do moving forward. I don't know if there's anything that necessarily we can spoil for the fans just yet, but there are changes coming to the show.
It's just going to be a little different. Like I said, sometimes when you make a podcast, you get to 100, and we've talked about it, that, you know, maybe we get to 100 and we're done. Maybe that's just what it was, and we are. Yeah, right. You know, sometimes you make a show and your son is Zorn, and you're like, hey, I got on the big leagues. I went out there. Maybe it wasn't what I thought, but I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get to be Family Guy into Sims and Bob's Burger, where you're like, no, the first season was good. It was fine. But I've like every time it gets better and better and better, and hopefully you get to the problem where it's like we're 6 years down the line and we're like, oh man, maybe we got to revamp again because now it's stale. That's a good problem to have if we have to revamp. So again, it's a good problem for us to have, it being like, okay, we got to 100. We decided, okay, we can either go this way or this way. We went this way. We're going to commit more to it. We're going to make it even better and get to our season 2 basically of like, okay, now it looks better. They put some money behind it. They put some effort. Like, now this is what the show really is. Yeah. Now I can judge it if I really like it or not. And then the goal is to keep driving off that until we get so good that we got to revamp again because it's so good.
Yeah, and just on top of everything, as this show grows, the network grows, and we've done some great interviews. We've had some great episodes.
Nicole wasn't part of it when we started.
No, I mean
I wasn't. I mean, you started this so long ago, and then I came along in the midway point and revamped it, and then Nicole came on.
It was completely changed,
a whole different voice, and we've had shows come and go, and we've had the consistent sports talk, which kind of carries the whole network. You know, we're almost like the ESPN, and we're the 30 for 30 part of it, and Nicole's the Sports Center part of it, where it's like, well, your whole thing was just being ESPN, and then we're the little PTI and Around the Horns involved in it.
And, it's interesting because we're able to really experiment with certain things on this show because our audience here is just much more fun. They want to listen about pop culture, entertainment, and then they want to hear you and I. I mean, you and I have a dynamic that not a lot of shows do. Like some of the successful shows, podcasts, deal with best friends, deal with couples, and you and I have the benefit of being brothers. So there's no better relationship. You and I, there's no lines, there's no limits. Like you and I can just riff for an hour like we're doing right now and have a good show, and it's there.
Each other's opinions
as much as we want, and there's nobody better than that when it comes to Mercado Brothers, and that's why the Good Brothers have transformed that into a very successful, loving podcast community. Thanks to our fans and thanks to your hard work and everything that we've put together. I'm ready for the next 100.
I mean, we've kind of established going through like what's our voice, and we've kind of found out like we're the voice of the Midwest. We're the voice of. We're not LA. We're not New York. Even downtown Chicago, certain areas. You're like, well, that's not real Chicago necessarily. That's. I'm talking about the real Midwest.
We're in the neighborhood.
We're the common man, and we're not even Florida or New York or like Texas. We're the middle, and we're the voice of the middle culture and the middle people. And I feel like we live in our own world sometimes. We talk different. We eat different. We know different things, and we have different opinions. And I think we're the voice of those people, and we're trying to make that even more heard.
And that's exactly what we're going to do. And I'm excited for the growth. I'm excited for everything. And I'm excited for episode 101, good brother, because guess what?
Season premiere.
Let's do it, good brother. For the good brother himself, Alex Mercado.
Adios.
I'm Mike Mercado. We'll see you in the next episode of The Good Brothers here on the Mercado
Airwaves Network.
Thanks for joining us here on The Good Brothers, here on Mercado Airwaves. Enjoy our shows? Follow the Mercado Airwaves crew all over social media. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. On Instagram, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy. Alex is at Mercado2121. Mike is at Mike Mercado2333. And our true crime show is at Murder Mysteries and More. And on Twitter, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy. Alex is at Mercado21Alex. And Mike is at MMercado2333. You can follow the network at Mercado Airwaves. Follow our pop culture show on Twitter at Good Brothers Pod. Get us on the go by downloading our programs anywhere you get your favorite podcast, like iTunes, SoundCloud, Podbean, Stitcher, and other popular sites. Just search us at Mercado Airwaves. While you're at it, please like, rate, review, and share us with your friends. Visit us on youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. Click the subscribe and like button to get notified every time a new episode or interview is posted. Support Mercado Airwaves by visiting patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves, the home of our interviews with athletes and celebrities, which you can get ad-free and early before it's released to the public. Come play video games with us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves Network. Mercado Airwaves is powered by Munch Art Design. Like them on Facebook at Munch Art Design. Voiceover work on Mercado Airwaves is performed by Josh Fox. Enjoy our shows? Follow the Mercado Airwaves crew all over social media. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. On Instagram, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy. Alex is at Mercado2121. Mike is at Mike Mercado2333. And our true crime show is at Murder Mysteries and More. And on Twitter, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy. Alex is at Mercado21Alex. And Mike is at MMercado2333. You can follow the network at Mercado Airwaves. Follow our pop culture show on Twitter at Good Brothers Pod. Get us on the go by downloading our programs anywhere you get your favorite podcast, like iTunes, SoundCloud, Podbean, Stitcher, and other popular sites. Just search us at Mercado Airwaves. While you're at it, please like, rate, review, and share us with your friends. Visit us on youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. Click the subscribe and like button to get notified every time a new episode or interview is posted. Support Mercado Airwaves by visiting patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves, the home of our interviews with athletes and celebrities, which you can get ad-free and early before it's released to the public. Come play video games with us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves Network. Mercado Airwaves is powered by Munch Art Design. Like them on Facebook at Munch Art Design. Voiceover work on Mercado Airwaves is performed by Josh Fox.
What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson,
another day at the office, I get to go out there and test my skill.
To award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones. Orlando, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, sir. I'm good, brother. How you doing?
And all the other interesting guests we've had on. Joining us today is director and writer David Ferrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show. Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Thanks for listening and all the support.